Can anyone? This is an odd one. The mic is showing up in my OBS. Can anyone hear now or not? Hello, hello, hello. No one can hear. Mic is working. Okay, thank God for that. I actually have no idea what happened. I think it was a software issue because the mic was showing up signal in OBS, but oh well, it's working. That's good. Yes, okay. Thank you for technical support in the chat. Thank God, that was great. So let me know as per usual where you're tuning in from tonight. This should be fun. Exactly. That was my trick. I just wanted to see if I could fool you all that there was no mic. What a terrible trick. Whole sound design session was no sound. That would be extremely hard to understand given the complexity of what we're probably looking at. So how is everyone doing? Let us know where you're tuning in from. Seen some familiar people in the comments. Hello on YouTube. Hello on Twitch. Hello on Facebook. #blame Cosmic Rays. Thank you, Matt Renzetti and Morn. I have no idea what was happening there, but anyway. Thank you, Everald. Hey, LK. Hey, Raider. Hey, Samantha. Hey, MV Beckham. Nice to see you again. Grim Vulture, I'd be interested to hear the sounds that you're making. And Kooky sounds. Okay, interesting. Wow. This is a rather large pumpkin here, isn't it? Yeah. So I'll run you through today's sort of outline as per usual. I'm not entirely sure if the sounds from last week are up on the Discord. I was just on the Discord server this morning, and I think, a bit busy with loads of sort of stuff at the minute, launches, so I think last week's sounds are maybe not up yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ida. But there's the free presets from last week and the week before should be on the Discord. And today there'll be some free presets along with free sounds. So I've got some raw sounds, then we're going to process them. And basically the structure is we're going to be looking at creating okay, awesome. Them sounds will be going up on Discord now. Sweet. I think there was 4 sounds we created around different genres and stuff. Okay, I could go and download them now. Awesome, that's good. Yeah. So we're going to be doing some vocal loops using Krotos Dehumanizer, which is, Krotos Simple Monsters, I think it is. Let me just check. Yeah, it's a Dehumanizer Simple Monsters is basically like a simplified version of, let me show you. Like a simplified version of Dehumanizer Pro, I think. Really, really cool. You can take control of the envelopes, and it's sort of using wave files on top of your audio, almost a bit like convolution reverbs do in a way, how you can load your own impulse responses into them, which is really cool. There's a lot of things you can do with it. Really nice interface, simple to use. So we'll do a little bit of time on them. Whatever come up, I will bounce and put it into a folder, and it's yours to have, yours to use however you like. Going to look at creating some impact and boom sound effects. So so this year our sample pack on ADSR is called the Wraiths, and I created the sounds, and it's a mixture of lots of sort of different small packs, but there's a lot of impact and sound effects, and someone had reached out to me on Instagram asking how I created them, so I thought I would maybe try and skim over impact and boom sound effects. If you have any ideas for future streams that you'd like to look at, we're always taking considerations. There's a couple that we got in the bag now from people, so if there's something you want to look at, hit the like and subscribe button and let us know in the comments, and let us know on Discord as well. You can join the Discord and get freebies every week after these. Anyway, so if you aren't familiar, I'm Brent. I run the sound design sessions here for ADSR. We've got streams all week with different people, so if you're into that and want to get lots of free resources and information, way more than I paid £28,000 for at university, I would highly recommend subscribing and following us on all the usual platforms. So, Krotos vocal loops, then we'll look at impact and boom sound effects, and I've got quite the advanced sort of sound design chain that we're going to look at there. Maybe take it a step further by layering it with some other sound effects and foley. And then also I have some serum presets from the Wraiths pack, which I'm going to break down. It's quite an ambitious list as per usual, but let's see what we can get through. So let us know what you're sort of hoping to get away getting from this, if anything, don't forget to mention Native Instruments free synth. It's there. Okay, awesome. I'm not sure what that is, but that's interesting. I didn't see that, but thank you, Ronnie B. Everyone loves a freebie for sure, so check that out if you haven't on the Native Instruments website. It might be on the ADSR website as well, who knows. I think the UJAM Hustle VST is free, still with a purchase on the ADSR store, by the way, so you get that free with any purchase, and it's not just for trap, you know, you can do absolutely tons of genres with it. They've got some great top loops in it as well, so grab that for sure if you haven't. Again, all of this stuff will be on the Discord with links and stuff. So, just to give you a little heads up as to what sort of tools I'm going to be using in case you want to, because I know a lot of people like to follow along with these. I'll be using Serum as the main wavetable VST purely for breaking down the sounds that we have created for the Wraith sample pack. And then Dehumanizer, Simple Monsters from Krotos. And for the rest of the stream, the majority of it will be using plugins to process audio. So I really, really love the Cable Guys bundle, the Shaper Box. It's incredible value for money. You can grab this on the ADSR website, and they just released this new noise module, which is so awesome, and it's great for sound design. Think of it, if you're not familiar with this sort of layout and user interface, it's a bit like the noise oscillator on Serum, but using it as an audio device, and you can use it as an audio unit on your own recordings and then bounce them in place with the noise on it. It's really, really cool. I think even the noise module is like crazy cheap. So I'm using tools from God, I forget the name of these guys. Disperser is from Kilohertz. Kilohertz do some fantastic tools for sound design. I really think these guys do some of the best tools for sound design. Shaperbox, Kilohertz Haas. This is just my favorite tool for doing the Haas effect. And then just a couple of things I use from FabFilter. And then this, using the ADSR sample manager to manage my samples. That's another freebie again. And another couple of things here, Snap Heap and Multipass again from Kilohertz. So if you're wondering what I'm using, this is what I'm using. I also use a lot of Soundtime stuff, but unfortunately that's on another machine down here. And you've got to have like, I had to bring my iLock over to this computer and whatnot. So anyway, the Soundtoy stuff is fantastic if you can get your hands on that as well. Also, the stuff that's built into your DAW is really good. So don't take, don't overlook that stuff. It's really, really good. So I have some raw recordings. So I would typically show these in the sample manager view, but I'm just going to show you them here to show them in their first state. You'll be able to grab these as raw samples. But I recorded these samples using my iPhone. So my iPhone has stereo mic on it. Honestly, this is the most convenient field recorder, and it's got a great set of microphones on it. And this is perfect for recording sound. So as you can see, I literally recorded all of these today, like all of them except this one from the other day. All of these are from just honestly around my house, like in the utility outside with bins and all sorts of things. So try and think about the sounds that are literally just at hand's reach, and you can use these and turn them into some fantastic, unique sounds. Also worth having, the object is an exciter. So what we mean by an exciter is, think of things that you can use to strike the object. So mallets, brushes, metal objects for metallic sounds, a bow with rosin. And then you can bow it to actually get like sustain. It actually changes the actual envelope, the ADSR of the sound over time. If not, I've got this little field recording kit here, which has basically Zoom H6 and Rode ambisonic mic, which I use if I really want to go out on a whim. But honestly, this is so much better. No, I'm not just going on my phone. Something extremely important about if you are using voice memos, by the way, which I discovered, go into voice memos on the settings, okay, and what you've got to do is go into audio quality. I don't think it's going to focus. Okay, there we go, just about. There's a little tab that says audio quality. Make sure it's on lossless, because it's on default, it's on compressed. And if you're recording sounds, especially if you're doing it like impact sounds for like kicks and snares, etc., it compresses them automatically, so the audio is destroyed by the time you bring it in your DAW. Otherwise, the lossless audio quality is great. So, let's start off with our dehumanizer. So basically you need audio to use this, so you need to record some sounds, or you can maybe grab some off the sample manager, you name it. It's really, really quite simple to use. I'm just going to record a couple of vocal things and take a drink first. I will get like a double effect, just making sure people can hear that serum there, hopefully. Hopefully people can hear that. Just double checking before I get rolling. Cool. That looks like it's all good. So, dehumanizer. I am literally just going to record in some audio here. I will have to loud and clear. Awesome. So you can monitor yourself through dehumanizer, which is really fun. Or you can turn it off. Jump scare sound fits for scary stream. Cool. So let's do some tracking of literally anything. So I'll just take some phrases like let's try this. Ha hum 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 1 2 ha hum hum hum. It can be gibberish, trust me. Okay. Let's just loop this part. Okay. And then using dehumanizer, you've got presets that you can use here. And again, someone did point out that this is on 70% off right now. So again, there'll be links to this probably in the chat or in the description. There's some really good presets here, depending on sort of like what sub topic you want to be going after. And I would change the audio from once you've recorded it as a mono file, it was stereo file, because then you can adjust the stereo spread and you get crazy cool effects like these. I'll bring up the audio here. So we've got modulation happening here with the wave points, and we can also change the, so again, these are a mixture of WAV and AIF files. You can import your own here as well. So it really is sort of like a convolution reverb when you import your own impulse responses. I use Fog Convolver by Audio Thing, and I'll actually be using that today. And with that, you can import your own audio files and use them to manipulate the audio in a really weird way, but it's really cool. Let's check out a couple more of these presets.
1 2 1 2
So we got these XY pads here. So I was checking these out before. What was it we looked at last week? Oh man, my memories. Oh no, sorry, a new tool from Anterras, but basically they had an XY pad with a similar sort of approach, and basically you can map something for the X and Y axis here from the main sliders. So in this case it's took size and fury, and with the XY pad you can modulate them over time, so you can play it in. And they're really, really good effects. You can imagine if you're doing some sound design for a project, say for visuals, and you are creating voices for characters, this would be a humongous time saver for generating character voices and stuff, but also just sound design within music and tracks as well. This is really interesting. And then on this one we have character and wildness, and obviously you can change these to your liking, but the fact that in such a simple plugin it does so much is crazy. I guess you could struggle to achieve this effect using a really, really long chain of effects. This is kind of a one-off plugin, unlike anything else. It's a little bit like you have stuff that you might have seen from Little Altar Boy, The Source, pitch shifting tools, but then it's also a voice changer. A lot of these plugins, you would actually have to use them with multi-chains of modulation, phases, flanges, stuff like that. And I actually think that if you want to use this purely for creative sound processing on voices, just grab this for the insanely affordable price that it is. It's really, I've got nothing like this. It's a great plugin.
1 2
Okay, that one's quite similar to my voice, sadly, and my voice doesn't sound very nice. Marsh. So the sliders here, we've got size. That's like a formant and vocal pitch. Fury is, I'm presuming, might be like a distortion saturation. Yeah, it adds more energy. Age, I think we can guess what that would do. Cool. Awesome. And you can change all these out for whatever you want. Horse process snort.
1, 2, hum.
Interesting. Interesting, yeah. Really, really cool plugin. I'm interested by this one, actually. I'm really thinking this would be great for visual media type stuff. Let's go into here and let's pick a... I was looking for third before, but let's do a vocal sample or something. What is there in here? Vocals. Just turn this down. I was just 15 minutes. Again, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be. You don't have to be starting out with like a spooky sound. It'll do that for you. That was just the first sample pack. Maybe just make it a little bit more general. Let's have a look at what these are.
You know that I don't play.
These are cool. I just want a phrase. Okay, let's just download this. Okay, whoa, that was nice and fast. Loving the ecosystem here. Okay, let's bring the level of this up ever so slightly. Okay, it rendered with the gain reduction of minus 15 dB that I had done, hence bringing the level back up. Let's check this one out. And it's quite different from the original. What's funny is I'm talking about using these for vocal effects, but like that's turning it into a drone there, really, isn't it? It's really, really great. I feel like now I'm just quite inspired to play a harmony, like a harmony underneath this. Let's some B minor. So it's cool for creating drones in beds as well. These are really, really, really cool sounds, actually. So that was a vocal stem that I've just took from Sample Manager, and Dehumanizers changed it into that, and it was originally this. Yeah, really, really great. So I think just keeping an eye on the old time, I'll probably spend a little bit longer with Dehumanizer. Yeah, this is the dark side of sound design. It's we've gone with that title purely to allow me to be able to investigate the vocals, boom, impact, sound effects, and layering with crazy sound effects. So we're going to get darker. We're just starting off with some sort of dystopian vocals for now. What we mean by dark sound is sound design. It's just sort of like we're going with like a Halloween spooky type theme here. So I just want to have a look at a little bit more of taking advantage of the actual envelope here. So in the in Simple Monsters, basically you can reset the envelope here and it'll pick new envelopes for you each time, which is really cool, because what it's doing is playing back this audio sample over the top of your original material, Bengal Tiger, and you can actually just listen to this solo sample playback on its own, which is really, really cool. So let's have a listen to the different envelopes and how it affects the sound. Okay, so it's not your traditional ADSR. It changes the sample playback at different points within the actual waveform here. So just mess around with different values, okay? So we're using the reset envelope. I would to be honest, here I would use a preset and mainly adjust the XY automation to try and give it some real sort of energy and keep it sort of natural sound. Give it some automation to make it sound a bit more interesting. But the envelopes are interesting to reset them when you have a different actual sample. Let's try another one of these. You can really hear the envelope, how it's changed there. If you're into sound design, something you need to have, to be honest, in my opinion. I can't really think of much else like it. Krotos are sort of the guys when it comes to this stuff, you know, with concept and dehumanizer. If you're into this sort of stuff, I really think this would aid people working maybe across media. So you want to use this for a project to get you some otherworldly type of vocal processing, sample, sound design. Really, really cool. So let us. Can someone ask Brent a question for me? Don't know if I'm allowed to or not in regards. You are more than welcome to ask me a question. Absolutely. Infected mushroom. I have heard of that one. Yes. I've got so many lights in here today, and I'm really, really feeling it. Okay. Cool little way to get us started. Let's move on to what I want to look at, which is using the samples which are going to be free for you guys to collect. And this is basically creating the sort of sonic booms and impacts. This is quite a long sort of thing, so we'll maybe just do one of these, move on to Serum. We'll see how we do. But what we need to do is, I'm going to duplicate this track 3 times. So, next topic. We're looking at impact and boom sound effects. So the way I like to think about this is, think of it a bit like if you're creating a bass. I always think about creating basses, mainly talking electronic music and pop music, in 3 layers here. I do a low, I do a mid, and I do sort of like a high. So the low is to achieve the sub rumble, the mid is the body, and the top the click, usually those sort of clicky elements, or to help it cut through on smaller speakers and stuff like that. So some of it is to help with mono compatibility, small speaker compatibility, and some of it is to help it cut through and mix more. So you have to take into mind every system. Sonic booms is a sort of very similar aspect. I've recorded some terrible samples. It goes without saying that you need to always try and work with good samples, but like I said, I recorded these on my microphone on my iPhone. I had absolutely no sort of engineering to it whatsoever. Just went into different rooms and hit on things with my hand. I must have done all of these in about 10 minutes collecting these samples. If you want to get a better result, you can still do brilliant recordings with your iPhone, but maybe have something like a tripod so you don't get any rumble, have something to strike the items, maybe think about the positioning, etc., etc. So what we're working with today is these samples here. Desktop. So I have these collection of sounds. As you can hear, they're already a little bit hot. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to put this one on here. What's this one? Okay, that's quite cool for my top layer. And lastly, I need some sort of middle layer. Actually, that second one was good. I didn't like the first one. What's this one? Okay, cool. So, in terms of processing these, so I usually do the 3 layers, which I just described. By the way, if you don't have the ability, say you're restricted and you can't even get outside to record, just go onto the sample store from ADSR and buy them. Even just buy 1 or 2. You don't have to buy an entire pack. You could buy a collection of different elements. You know, this you could pick up some foley, maybe some kicks and thuds, and maybe you could pick up some toms or something like that. Taiko drum even would be awesome. So you don't have to be collecting these sounds yourself. I'm just going to come out of my snap to grid mode here, and I'm just going to take my slice tool, and also it helps if you can zoom in on your waveform and trim these, roughly speaking. Designing sound is one of the most difficult things to grasp for you. Let me know what you're struggling with, HJS. I can try and help you. I'd be more than happy to try and help you. Don't forget, if you're enjoying this, guys, please subscribe and turn the notification bell for future streams, because not only do I do these every week, but we also have other streams throughout the week. Okay, that's really cool. That is actually the sound of a door. Yeah, it's a lock. That's my front door. Interesting. Don't worry about the alignment too much for now. And then this one at the start here. Same thing, keep it off. So what I need to do first of all is I've got to admit, I would usually try and record the best samples possible in the best conditions, etc., etc. And then I would usually process them using something like Isotope RX8. Actually just released a new RX, I'm pretty sure. Or I would use something like Waves, WNS, or there's lots of other tools. There's even some freebies. I think there's a freebie from Acusonus. Might be on the ADSR store, perhaps. Okay, I'm just going to delete this part and come back here. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll line these up onto the grid. And as we can see, the waveforms are peaking on the ceilings here. And I'm just resampling and rendering them down. Okay. Change my loop point so I can keep going back and forth with these. So let's start off with this boom. Let's have a listen. These I will change to stereo files. So there's no processing on them. This is just as we started. Cool. Okay, so the level's okay. I would certainly bring it down a tad, because one of the worst things is going into a you don't want to go into a plug-in chain already quite hot. Try and give yourself -12 to -6, roughly speaking. Gives you plenty of headroom when you're playing with things. So I would usually do some audio cleaner, but for the sake of today, I'm just going to do some basic EQing. So you want to balance out, by the way, you want to balance out the waveforms and the layers here in terms of the respective EQ regions. So what I'm doing is I'm going to filter out all the top end off this thing, because this is my sub, my low layer. Let me just render this one more time. It would help if I was on the correct Pro Q3. Hey, thanks for joining, Vaishnav. Okay, cool. Let me just change this. Just looping it over and over again. Okay, cool. So I don't need much on this apart from low end. Reason being is I have a middle layer and I have a top layer, and this will all start coming to fruition. So this will do for now. I'll come back and make adjustments later on. Now what I would do is I would typically do some tuning. Okay, so I do have a pitch shifter from kilohertz, and this is a really, really good pitch shifter. Sounding quite good. Also, like, there's a tiny bit of sort of a ringing afterwards, if you can just hear it. Again, as always, good headphones goes a long way, or good speakers. Cool. That's quite good. And then after I've done that, I'll go on some compression to try and achieve some dynamic control, but mainly to bring up the energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a full ratio. I know it's extreme, but I want to really control the, not necessarily the attack, but the way that this sample is going to play out over time. Cool. About minus sound design is one of those things where you can be a bit more heavy-handed. You know, sometimes when I'm mixing, there's no right or wrong on the levels you want to hit, but I usually don't like to overcompress much in mixing, whereas here I really don't care what the meters say. If it sounds good, it is good. Cool. I'm just going to apply a fade out onto these. I'll do a fade in later on. Another great thing to do with these, okay, is go onto the volume tool on the cable guys. What's this? This is the shaper box. So shaper box, I would put this before Pro Q3 and go on to the trimming setting. And from here you can adjust the envelope, the actual ADSR of this sample, which is quite hard to achieve. And this is just, these are fantastic sound design tools for creating your own sounds and tweaking them. That's really cool. I quite like that tighter envelope on it. And I don't want the sub to be really... I don't want the sub to have a crazy long attack because it can be a bit mushy with that amount of low end swarming around. And if I end up putting a reverb on this, which I very well might, low end rumble will be filtered out anyway. So keeping it fairly tight is good. I think I'll just adjust the envelope ever so slightly, and we could even change the bands here. So I'm just going to reduce the band here. And then let's have a look at this high band. And let's mainly make it, let the more of the lows through and reduce the highs. Okay. Should just delete one of these points really. There we go. Oh, I deleted my entire waveform instead. Okay, that's tighter, that's better. Okay, so, quite happy with that. I will have to come back to it. Let's head to layer number 2 now. So this is the middle layer. Cool. Right, okay. Again, it's just a tad hot. Excellent. Okay. Same thing again. I'm going to start off with this one with the Pro Q3. And this one doesn't need, it's the opposite. This one doesn't need the low end. And it also doesn't need the top end. So this is largely the body of the sound, okay? Another Pro C2 instance. Let's go heavy on the ratio. Again, hear the way that's changed. A really slow tail on it. This is cool, but again, I need to take control. Hey, thanks for joining from Southern California. I need to take control of the ADSR of this sound. So I'm going to go into trimming, and again, I'm going to apply an envelope here. And turn it on would be useful. Better, let's change the bar. Let's keep it a 1 bar long actually, because it is 1 bar, but tighten the length of the decay here. Definitely getting there. Let's just reduce this. Okay, I like that. Yeah, it's got quite a natural sort of feel to it, which is great. Okay, I quite like that. And then what we could do is we could add some crazy effects to this later on, just to give you an idea if you are sort of thinking, well, where can this go? Later on, what I would do is I would add some transient shaping to the mid layer once I sort of get an overall sound before I collectively bounce these as one. And the top layer, I would add some Haas widening. And I would also maybe add some dynamic resonance suppression using something like soothe, limiting, soft clipping, saturation, all these type of things. Let's move on to the final layer. I'll just make these smaller. So the final layer looks like I might have to adjust the start point. Let's have a listen. So the final layer is the one I accidentally applied this to. Let's have a listen to this now. I like it a lot, actually. It's my favorite. Cool. Cool. Got rid of all the low ends. So each one is filtered into its different regions here. I think this one might have to start a bit. Yeah, definitely. So let's just, because you can hear it's almost got like a slight rising tail to it. It's random, but let's just try this point here because I feel like that's where the energy looks like it starts. Back to here. And also to all three of these, let's just apply a tight lock. That's better. Cool. And now with this one, again, this one, I want to apply the most compression. Okay, so minus 13 dB, and good. It's got a really invasive attack to it. Okay, good. Let's see what happens if I add the shaper box to this one. So again, volume, I'm going to go into the trimmer. I like the, there's a little bit of noise at the end there, which is actually really cool. I like it. I might try adding some of the digital noise from Noise Shaper here, actually, because I really quite like what this does. Interesting. That's such a great tool. I mean, this is literally the first thing I've loaded up. There's tons of different samples here from some really, really great sound designers. But this is just white noise. Sounds really good. I'm actually just going to leave it at that for now. Might come back and slightly adjust the shape of things later on, depending on the reverb. Let's have a look at what we have at the minute. So we should have a low, a mid, and a high. It's quite different than what we started with, actually. Like, well, we will do a before and after, but it's really radically quite different, and it can only get better from here. Interesting. Really, 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 really good. So let's go to this top layer here, and what I want to do is, what really makes these all come alive is fog convolver. So this is a great tool, again, from Audio Thing. Again, it's available on the ADSR store. So this is a convolution reverb. And convolution reverb, what I like is you can create your own convolution reverb impulse responses with, again, just this guy. So get using your phone for sure, because the microphone on can really help you create your own sound palette. So these are emulations of the microphones. I'm looking for something a little bit more specific. What we got here? Sure, let's have a look. Wow, these cannot be what I think they are. I've not even looked at these. These are new. Let's just blend in the... Okay. I'll need to bring this up. Amazing. The recordings from 1969 NASA liftoff. That's really, really interesting. I think there's one in here which I'm trying to look for. These are Reslow. These are all microphones. Piano chord, wax noise. I was looking for... the sound of a hall, but I haven't got the reverb on here. So if you don't have convolution reverb in the bank, which I don't have on this machine, I would recommend using an algorithmic reverb, something like Pro R or Seventh Heaven from Liquid Sonics. Really, really good. Let's resize this to large. And again, I believe we have a lot of good presets to work with here. Let's just have a look at how this sounds over time. So we have two different things here. We have control of the decay rate, and then we have the EQ afterwards. really interesting. I'm going to cut out all of the low end here and then get rid of this point. Cool. I'm going to leave the mix completely wet. And it's a little bit bright. A tad closer. And yeah, I don't want to have too much high-end information. So this is the decay rate over time. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing for this mid layer. And let's check this out. Yeah, Seventh Heaven is awesome. So is Cinematic Rooms. Okay, I'm just going to back off the mix on this one. So what I want to do, this pre-delay down here, I want to change this to about 7 seconds. So this lets the transient through. Cool, really good. I'm going to, it's taken out too much mid information here. And let's filter out up to about 200 with a 12 dB slope. Make this one slightly darker again. And put this on a slightly larger space because I've brought back the mix. I need to retain a little bit more low end on this one. Cool, the EQ on these are really good. Let's hear what we have. I usually try to avoid the reverb on the low sample as much as possible, but this is what we got now. I mean, if you've listened to the Wraith sample pack, this is how I created all the sounds. Took me a hell of a long time, but basically I might do something like this, and then what I would do is I'd swap out the samples, so maybe spend a couple of days carving out like a chain for something like this, you know, like impact sound effect layers, 3 tracks, and then I drop in a series of different samples, which I might record from around the house. A lot of those are recorded outside as well. So collect your sounds and build your own sample pack is really, really interesting. But yeah, if you like this sound, this one will be free. It'll be on the Discord sometime this week. And along with this, there'll be some of those vocal samples. So there'll be a couple of these sort of sonic booms. They sound wicked. They sound really, really cool. So I'm quite happy with the envelopes and the reverbs. Things sound quite cool. Now it's a process of sort of blending things in. Okay, I'm going to widen the top layer, okay? Don't have to worry too much here about things going out of phase because it'll still remain its mono information. It just means it's spread wider if people are wearing stereo cans or stuff like that. So this is going to make that top layer even wider. Let's have a listen without it. I'm soloing the completely wrong thing. So without the ha's. This is sort of like a bitey top layer. And with the ha's. Cool, let's widen up the sides. So this is delaying one side from each other. So if you imagine a stereo sample is captured using the left and right sound sources, so it delays one side from the other. So it's actually creating some like really tiny modulation. Yeah, I like that. Without it. Just a tad wider. Okay, and then one more thing I might do is just use a bit of distortion. Put this before the reverb, adjust the mix. Very nice. Same thing to this one. I'm not going to use Saturn 2, it's a little bit advanced, just want something really basic. Okay, again. This one I want to put it before my reverb. You can change the type here. Wow. This also improves the crest factor of the sample. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to leave the low end because the distortion can reduce the dynamic range of the low end. So this is what we have here. And what I'm going to do with the low end is I'm going to use the disperser from kilohertz to boost. It's like a sort of like sub-frequency generator. The pinch is like resonance, with and without. I don't have a bypass ability on here, so without. With. Okay, let's just maybe bring this up to 100, search around on 90. Okay, so these were 3 absolutely god-awful, terrible samples recorded in my house today within about 10 minutes. If you've missed, I just used this, my iPhone. Go into settings, change the quality from compressed to lossless, so it won't apply any compression. Drop your samples in. If you've missed what I've done, you can go back and watch what I did. My plugin chain, the tools I'm using are all available, I believe, on the ADSR store. And if you like this sound, you can grab this sound completely free in our Discord freebies channel. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. These are here every Monday, by the way, for anyone new watching. And this is what we've got here. I'm going to take it a bit further again, but this is what we've got now. Awesome. Versus what we started out with, and bearing in mind I even trimmed the samples and cleaned them up a bit. Literally worlds apart. Super, super cool. Sound design like this is really, really interesting. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce these. Let me just do this. So I'm going to bounce these track. You're having some difficulty with the Discord. Eda will probably be able to help you with that. I think you just need to join the channel. I'm just going to bounce all of those down to a new track. I usually have this on a hotkey, but not on this. Mix down selection. This will mix down everything into one file. And now what we can do, if you look at the waveform, because the various instances we've applied tools, we're at a good level where we can apply some limiting. So you could use a stock limiter. Let's use this in soft clipping mode. Okay. Bring them back. Okay, awesome. So I've resampled this into a new layer here. And what we could do now is we could even add something else onto it. So let's think. I had a sample from before. This sample is, again, a raw sample, free for you guys to download. As you can tell, it's very thirsty work. The sample that I'm thinking of is this lock one. Actually, no, it's not that one. Rusty hinge. Okay, that is the one I'm thinking of. Let's just stick it on this Foley track. Okay, I think this sounds quite cool. I'm just going to reduce the waveform here. Oh, yeah. Wow. There's so many good sounds just lying around outside, inside your house. There's so many good sounds. Let's just bounce this to the new side, the new level at which I've rendered it. Bring this up here. Now, this is another way to do sound design. So this has not really got any crazy top end. I'm going to roll off the bottom. Oh, wow. It's amazing. I'm going to add some compression. And again, I'm going to go quite hard with the ratio. Let's do a faster attack than that. And let's do some ha's. Oh, wow, that's just transformed it. Okay, Now, with sounds like these, you can do a lot with your modulation tools. So sometimes I find that these are things that people buy and we don't really use them much. We're talking like modulation tools like phasers, flanges, etc. KHS flange, let's try this. So this is all kilohertz tools. I think we have a ring mod. Yeah, I would just get the kilohertz stuff for all this sort of stuff. We've got a modulator source here. Cool. Okay. And then one last thing I'm going to apply to this is a tremolo. Actually, the one that came with Presonus is really good. This is one that came with new Presonus update version 5, I think. There we go. Let's add some distortion to this. Okay, 2 stages. Bring our output level down. And let's just do a tiny bit of Pro R. Okay, some otherworldly sounds there. And then also try and use multipass, snappy, shaper box. You could totally add more to this. In fact, the noise might be another really good way to run. So cool. Just sounds great from the get-go. Wow. Wow, it's a great tool, great. So that would layer surprisingly well with our sort of sonic boom here. So this is how we start to create some really cool sound design. Wow. Wow. Let's pull back on the limiter here. And then I would maybe render these down at 1 file. Really cool, really cool. So for the last, if anyone has any questions, please have them come in. Hi from South America. Pro Art is one of your go-tos. It's awesome. Seventh Heaven, someone was asking. I'm just checking if there's any questions. I've kind of been keeping an eye on them as they come in, but I had so much to get through today. I was going to show you what. So we've got our vocal samples. We've created some sort of sonic impact. We've just touched the surface with it. I'm going to show you how we can create instant and super easy sounds in Serum, which are sort of abstract and spooky. Head to your analog oscillator array and go for a basic shape. So in this case, I'm just going to go for a waveform. So a sine wave is like nothing that exists in nature. And what we're going to do with it is so simple. We're just going to keep the sine wave and we're going to apply distortion. We're going to apply one of the diodes because these are really hard-hitting distortion algorithms. I'm going to put it in bandpass mode. And what we're going to do is we are going to control the mix knob of the distortion using velocity. Okay, we're going to use some, again, sort of like Haas. Excellent. And I'm going to apply the velocity again to the level of my oscillator. So the velocity, I feel, is one of them really overlooked tools. I'm going to apply an LFO to the level of the noise oscillator using the one-shot mode. And let's keep this in trigger. And envelope mode, sorry. This needs to be a a bit more rapid. Okay, let's head to our phaser. And we're going to use some reverb. Okay. Increase the unison. Use a second LFO on the fine tune. Down this an octave. And change the rate so it's slower. Okay, so now when you dig in more with different velocities, really cool effect there with just one sine wave. So simple. And then if you use it with stuff like this, you create your own preset, you create your own impacts. It's a really great balance of tools here. Sounds like this is in D flat or a C. Anyway, so we've tried to. Sounds like the sound from Skype when a call is coming. What's the sound from Skype? It's like do. Yeah, we should try it. Oh my god, that would be such a cool series, recreating the sounds from like Skype and like. That's a really cool idea. Nice one, MV Beckham. So, this was a really kind of, we got advanced, but. I went to production tutorial section and clicked follow at the bottom and got such matches. So HJS, if you're having trouble, I think you might be able to keep in contact with support at the ADSR store, but we can definitely get you on the Discord server and get you receiving all the freebies. So anyway, I hope that people enjoyed today. This was our sort of Halloween theme one. If you interested in any of the tools that I've used today, I've basically used FabFilter, Kilohertz, Cable Guys, their new noise one's fantastic. I've used Serum and I've used Krotos. I think that's just about everything. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, we're here next week, and I'm sure we have more throughout the week. And you will be able to grab that free preset along with the impact sound effects. Probably about 4 or 5 freebies coming your way tomorrow on the Discord. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope everyone has a great Halloween. I believe it's on Sunday. And then we're on the Christmas run. Sorry to say that. I know it's too early already. So I hope you have a great week. I will absolutely answer questions in the Discord, Swift Dreamer. Yeah. Put them in there, and I usually check it every sort of day or two just to see, what discussions are happening, and yeah, anything like that. Usually it's on the sound design channel. I usually pop my head in there quite often. There's the freebies channel with the stuff that I do, and then there's just general production channel chat. You have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out on there. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you all next week. Hope you have a great week, and grab the freebies sometime through the week on Discord. Make sure you try out all of these techniques and principles on your own sound design and get recording. All right, guys, I shall see you later. Bye.